had a lot of letdowns in my life. The time my cousin took home a throwing star that we found at the school that I thought we would both share. I never saw it again once he took it home. There was a letdown the time me and Boyd went to the train tracks. I can't talk about that yet. Got a few more years before I can legally talk about that one. I was let down every time I thought I was going to go on a date with Amy Covey and never did. Like I said, I've had a lot of letdowns in my life, and one of those top 5 letdowns had to be, I believe, around 1987 with the release of Masters of the Universe, the live-action film. I can remember picking up a Starlog magazine and looking in there and seeing that they were making a Masters of the Universe live-action movie, and I was really excited. I wasn't excited as I would have been a few years ago. To me, this movie was a little late coming. If this movie was released in 84, 85, I would have been there camping out overnight. But by 1987, I think a lot of us that at least started with He-Man in 83, 84, by 87, we were really getting out of it, or at least most of us was, and it seemed a little too late. But just that kid part of me was, I was a lot older then, was getting into my teens more, doing teen stuff, but that child part of my heart was there for He-Man, and I was like, okay, I've got to check this out. It's that live action movie of He-Man. And I can remember reading through and seeing that the guy from Rocky's going to play He-Man. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Not Stallone. Stallone would have been a good He-Man, but I'm talking about Dolph Lundgren. I was like, that's going to be a good He-Man right there. I could see that. I remember thinking, it doesn't really sound like He-Man, but maybe they'll work on that and get it right. I remember the name of the guy that plays Skeletor, which I'm drawing a blank now. I don't know why. Can't remember his name. You'll let me know in the comments. As soon as I turned his camera off, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's who it was. But I remember I didn't know who that was, and I was like, okay, we'll give him a shot and see. And I can remember hearing a little bit about this movie coming out. It's probably 86 maybe when I heard about it in Starlog or something. But I remember hearing about this movie, hearing little pieces here and there, probably thanks to Starlog and just talking to friends. And I was getting kind of hyped for it again. I was like, whoa, I can remember sometime around this time, digging out some old He-Man toys I hadn't looked at in years, thinking, oh man, He-Man. Think about how I used to run home from school. Luckily, I had a school by my house, so I used to walk to school, and school got out at 2:45, and He-Man started at 3 o'clock. And I would run home to make sure. It only took me like 5 minutes to walk home. Not even that long. It took me maybe 2-3 minutes to walk home. But I want to make sure I got home, got my drink, got me a Yoo-Hoo or whatever I was going to drink, got in front of the TV to watch He-Man, the cartoon. I loved He-Man. Now, I know a lot of people call it Master Universe. I always just call it He-Man, but I guess technically the cartoon is He-Man, Masters of the Universe. So I started getting really back into He-Man, or just remembering how much I loved it, looking at my old figures and everything. And then I started hearing things about the movie. And one thing I remember first hearing was, set on Earth. That didn't feel right to me. That did not feel right to me at all. I was like, this is He-Man. It should be set on his planet. And I said, well, maybe they're going to link it into his mom, because we know from the cartoon his mom was from Earth, so maybe it's linked in that way. So I started to accept it. And then I heard some people telling me that maybe that was based on the comic book and not the cartoon. And I was like, what? The comic book that comes with the figures? And they're like, no, I don't know who made it, DC or whoever made the comics. And I was like, I never read the comics, so I didn't really care. And then somebody said, no, it's like their own spin on He-Man, and that kind of threw me off. And I can remember, I was at the movies. I don't know what I was seeing, but I saw a trailer to Masters of the Universe. Now, I should have known then. But, you got that little part in you where even if you see something bad, you just want it to be good so bad that the bad looks good. So you're like, oh man, okay, it doesn't look like what I thought it was going to look like. It doesn't look like, the He-Man that I grew up on. But man, I can't wait to see this. I've got to see this He-Man, man. It looks great. Then a few months later, I ended up at the theater, the opening weekend, probably, and I'm just guessing here, very soon to opening, because before anybody told me anything about it. Sitting in the theater, seeing Skeletor. I love the look of Skeletor. I still think that holds up today. The look of Skeletor and the guy that plays him, I think is excellent. I think that's the best part of the movie, is Skeletor. But I can remember seeing them fight, and it just didn't seem right. And the first 10, 15 minutes, I tried to lie to myself that, okay, it's going to get better, or it's not as bad. I'm just overhyping it. And then when they got to Earth, it was just, I was like, what am I watching? It felt like I was watching somebody that didn't even know He-Man made this. You know, it was like it's like somebody said, okay, He-Man, Skeletor, put them in a movie, and didn't know anything about He-Man or anything. You know, I wanted Prince Adam. I wanted cheesy cartoon He-Man. Which I have to admit, a He-Man movie is probably going to be hard to do. There's been talk about redoing a He-Man movie, and I don't know. Either you can go really campy and silly with it and make fun of the cartoon, which I could see being kind of good, but then I think a lot of fans want a more serious He-Man, but then you get a little too serious He-Man, and it takes away from the He-Man that we grew up on. He-Man's a touchy movie to try to do again today. You got to walk that line of giving kids giving us what we want is what we remember as a kid, but yet giving us something new that appeals to more an older side also. So that's going to be hard to do. But I can remember sitting in that theater. Courtney Cox. Anyway, never liked Courtney Cox. Even when she was on Family Ties, didn't like her in there, didn't like her in Ace Ventura, really didn't like her on Friends, but I've just never been a Courtney Cox fan. I didn't even like her when she was dancing around with Bruce Springsteen, but that's a whole nother story right there. But I can remember being so let down that there were no He-Man people in this movie. I mean, there was He-Man, Skeletor, Evil Lyn, and I think Men-at-Arms. And there was a girl in there, was she Teela? I guess she was Teela. She didn't look anything like Teela. And where's Orko? I was like, how can you do He-Man without Orko? And there was no Battle Cat. Where was Battle Cat and Cringer? I just could not believe that they would bring in new characters. I was like, why new characters? They had a fake guy that was like a fake Orak. There was a fake Orko. It's just, you guys know how it is. I was so let down after I saw this movie. I remember getting back home, boxing up my stuff, the He-Man stuff I had back out. And it's like, and then I forgot about He-Man for years. I didn't even want to think about it. I didn't even want to watch the cartoon. I was like, He-Man's over. I can't believe they did this to He-Man. It was rough. It was rough, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was rough. It was a couple of it was a rough couple of months. Let's just say that. Then I never saw it again. It would come on TV sometime. I get little clips of it turning around, channel surfing, like it's still on. And turning it, and then I guess it's been a few years now. My son got into watching the He-Man cartoon and playing with my old toys. I got He-Man for him to watch, and I didn't remember, it was on my list, a holiday special, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, and the live-action He-Man movie. Them were like the three things you stayed away from. And I watched it with him, and yeah, it's nothing like He-Man that I grew up on, and it's stupid, and it's cheesy, but it's something stupid fun about it now, watching it. It's horrible. I'm not going to say it's a great movie or anything. It's just, it was fun to watch. My son really enjoyed it, which was odd. I didn't think he would. And like I said, it's campy and it's stupid, but I can appreciate it for how goofy and stupid it is. I do wish we got a better live-action movie. I do wish they did one around 84, where I've been really excited for it. I don't know why they waited till the line was dead before they even made a movie about it. But I don't know. I just really wanted to talk about the He-Man movie, and I want to see what you guys thought about it. What do you think about it now? But what did you think about it then when it came out? Were you excited, or were you like me? Were like, oh, He-Man, that's a little late now. And then you saw it, and you was like, what? What is this? This ain't He-Man. But I don't know. Anyway, that's my story of the Masters Universe release, and I'm curious what you guys think. Again, like I said, if you liked it or if you hated it or whatever. Well, that's it. Don't forget to come back at 5 o'clock where we're going to look at the prototype alien figure and its links to Star Wars. And then another video tonight at 8, but I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. So don't forget, 3 videos Monday through Friday, noon, 5, and 8, and weekends are random. I always say I'm going to take Saturday off, and then I'm end up making a video. I'm going to take Sunday off, and then I end up making a video. I've done that in the last couple of weeks in a row. Just addicted to making videos, I guess. Anyway, I want to thank you. Thumb up on you like my content. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk again soon.
Hey, Jumpman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.